We're here in front of the United States Treasury Department with AAM Executive Director Scott Paul talking about the outcome of President Hu and President Obama's press conference this afternoon. Now, Scott, what does the outcome of the Hu Jintao-Obama summit mean for American workers and manufacturers?
Well, there's a lot at stake because we have an enormous trade relationship with China. Unfortunately, it's basically one-sided. We have about a $250 billion trade deficit. For every $1 of goods we export to China, we get about $5 in imports in return, and the problem is only getting worse. So I think a lot of American workers, a lot of manufacturers are looking to today's summit to smooth out some of these imbalances. And it's important because the imbalances have really wreaked havoc on the American manufacturing sector. We've lost about 5.5 million manufacturing jobs over the last decade. You can attribute about 2.4 million job losses directly to our trade deficit with China. And the business community, working people, were looking to President Obama to show some leadership on economic issues because jobs are the principal concern of voters.
Great. So first, let's talk about what was accomplished during the meetings. We know that there's a lot that still needs to be worked on, but what was accomplished today?
Sure. Well, the Chinese announced commercial deals with a number of U.S. companies, including Boeing, which will mean 200 aircraft delivered to China. That's a very big deal. That means American jobs. So that's the good news. And if you total it up, it's probably somewhere between $30 and $40 billion worth of business that was done today. So that's all very good. But China also made some commitments, and we'll see with time whether they live up to those commitments. And those commitments are important. China's agreed to open up its domestic investment more to American firms. It's also agreed to ease up on the theft of intellectual property like business software. And so these are important commitments for the Chinese to make, but I think that the proof is going to be in the pudding. I mean, what happens a year from now? Will China have lived up to this, or will it just be another broken promise?
And what disappointments were there today in the talks between the two leaders?
Well, there were a lot of disappointments, primarily around currency manipulation, which is an issue we've talked about a lot here at the Alliance for American Manufacturing. China made no mention of its currency manipulation, made no commitment to try to revalue the yuan, said that it's an internal matter for the Chinese to decide. And the Obama administration has raised the issue over the last week. Secretary Geithner made an important speech last week where he raised this issue. But President Obama didn't really press Hu Jintao on this as much as he possibly could have, and I think it's a missed opportunity, and it probably means that Congress is going to get a little more engaged in this in the months to come.
And how do you believe that Congress should respond to this meeting? What steps should they take next?
Well, one of the interesting things about the currency issue with China is that it is a bipartisan issue in the Congress. In the last Congress, in the House of Representatives, a legislation to penalize China for its currency manipulation passed overwhelmingly, including 99 Republican votes. In the Senate, the last time this came up in 2005, got 67 votes. It's easily an issue on which the Senate, the House, Democrats and Republicans could agree, and it would actually put a lot more pressure on China than anything that President Obama said today. And I think that's what the Congress should do next.